say that 120 people were evacuated.
Yeah, they were.
You can't evacuate people. I mean, you can if you want, but that's not what you want to say here.
The building can be evacuated. To evacuate a person is to give that person an enema. Details, Mr. Nieves. Baltimore Sun. God still resides in the details.
You teachers, right?
What are we going to do with these children today?
The Bart Dog.
Carlisle again.
Hey, Swag, I'm looking at fire right from East Baltimore, and I got a burnt Barbie in the foreground. Yeah, and I might actually believe you if it wasn't Carlisle who took the shot. No fucking way I believe in this picture. Bring something else. Every fire photo he brings in is there's got to be some burnt doll somewhere in the debris. That cheap motherfucker now with his fucking hair and the dolls, one lighter photo of each one. You check his fucking trunk in front of the whole collection. What's your legal?
Councilman Malay's vote on the homeless initiative at Carcay's behest. He doesn't want to look like the city's running the homeless out of downtown, so he asked Maurice to redraft the measure.
That's right. You don't evacuate people.
What?
Never mind.
Working anything good?
Just what Daycoff's missed, a fatal in Charles County and a gas leak downtown.
Pretty son.
Quiet day so far.
It's a shit news town.
You think?
How many stories been national out of here? Not many.
Those bodies in the houses last year, that got a lot of play.
And they didn't even solve it, right? Story had no legs at all. Since then, what else?
Jeff! Jeffy Jeff! What? Come here. Jesus Christ. What now? You stay for the zoning bills?
No, I came back here to write.
You shut the fucking library. You should check clips too. It goes back a ways. No, check that. You go back to the hall, you get the vote on this thing. Find out who sponsored this. Find out whether Carcetti or Nerissa or whoever's behind it. You buttonhole them, find out what the hell's going on.
Fine. Who's Ricardo Hendricks?
Drug dealer. Fat-faced rape.
Scott.
This property on Baltimore Street is a titty bar the city wants for the Howard Street Enterprise Zone. But this other property they want to trade with them? I want to find out what that's all about.
This is a drug dealer they're trading properties with.
Yeah, he's got a record as long as there are a couple of convictions too. Go, this is a good quote. I want you to go to this address. It's a strip club called Desperado. You ask around for the owner. His name's Ricardo Hendricks. You tell him, until we get a comment, we're going to put Ricky's picture on the front page every day.
Who is he?
He's a drug dealer. But from the look of this, he's running some sort of game at City Hall. We want to comment as to why he's trading property with the city and what he stands to make off his deal.
Okay.
What do you want from me?
Clips, check the mortal files, write the game matter on Ricardo's history.
Oh, he goes to strip clubs and I'm pulling clips in the morgue?
You guys late for the council meeting? Looking for you, sir. Me. I'm racing. I'm late for some...
All right, so in those two scenes, I basically stated, without stating them, I hope, all the themes of the coming season, which is it's wrong to cheat in journalism, which you would think would be the kind of thing that doesn't need to be stated in these modern times of ours. But in fact, the last poll I saw, 60% of Americans believe that reporters routinely make it up or make things up. I mean, I don't believe they routinely make it up, but I do believe there are reporters who make it up. But that's an incredible number, 60%. So yeah, in this very light and playful way, it's a photographer who's dropping a little burnt doll in the foreground of his shots. Which, by the way, there was a guy at the Sun who did that. Every single line of dialogue is stolen from the Baltimore Sun. You know, it's like we didn't. You know, I'd like to say that we were really creative, but in truth, it all happened. The other thing is out-of-town ownership, this sort of carpetbagging of reporters and editors into an institution like the Baltimore Sun or the LA Times. Cities are distinct. They have histories. They have residents who have histories. They have neighborhoods that have histories. What makes a newspaper great is some organic connection to that. When newspapers are owned by chains that exist with only a fealty to the price per share and to their stockholders. They exist a little less in terms of the cities where they actually, the cities that they're actually obliged to cover. And from the time I was there, the Baltimore Sun went from being, a stodgy, gray lady, but nonetheless a paper trying to get it right and very idiosyncratic to Baltimore, to being a flashier, more dynamic paper that knew less of its city than ever before, to the point where now the average reporter is in his 20s, not his 30s or her 30s, and knows very little about the city. And I read it sometimes in wonder at some of the stuff that appears in it, because nobody has any sense of the history of my city. These, they may be here today. They were in Orlando tomorrow. If they get promoted, they might be in Chicago next. It is in no way connected to the city, which brings us to the first, I thought, rather obvious metaphor, but I couldn't help myself, of, who stands around when something's on fire? Well, journalism's burning. I mean, it's burning to the ground. It's going down to the waterline. In this sense, if you think the internet is going to replace journalism, and by the way, I'm not talking about newsprint, because newspapers are an anachronism, and the idea that you're going to get a piece of a tree delivered to your door every morning, yeah, that is absurd in this day and age. Everything's got to go online. But if you think that instead of organized news gathering organizations with the depth and range of newspapers are going to be supplanted by blogging and by the internet, here's what the internet is. And there was some critique about the Wire. Why aren't they showing the internet? Why aren't they showing the internet's impact on journalism this season? Well, we did. The internet's impact on journalism was, I think it was about episode 2 or 3, I can't remember now. The editor stands up and says, we're closing all our, we're losing money, the ad base is down, we're closing all our foreign bureaus, we have another round of buyouts, and, it's a hard time for newspapers. The internet has become this free source of commentary, and he acknowledges the economic preamble, which is the internet. But if you think that the internet is journalism, I don't know what to do with you, you wrong-headed and tragic generation. I don't know what to do. Stay in school, learn more. I don't know what to say. I have never run into an internet reporter at a city council meeting or a zoning hearing, and I've never heard of one in Fallujah. And I've never, you want the Wire scene that would have included the internet in season 5? Here it would have been interior, living room, garden, apartment, male, 30s, sits at computer, links to Baltimore Sun article, shirt off, underwear, he scratches his left testicle until satisfied, begins commenting on article. That is the internet. That is 90% of the internet. That's not to say it's not entertaining or that it's not creaming a lot of the froth off of the first generation news coverage, and that there aren't a lot of interesting commentators, and that some people don't have a legitimate voice, and that it's not a democratization of opinion. It is all those things. And I would not want to live without it, and I'm glad it's here, and it can only lead to some good things. But the one tragic thing it is leading to is the destruction of the first generation news organizations, the ones that have or used to have the money to send people to London, to Fallujah, to Moscow, to the zoning board, to the school board hearing, to the courthouse. That newspaper is disappearing before my eyes in my city and in most second-tier cities. And that's what the season is depicting. So in the end, what we did was we had, for those of you that watched The Wire this season, let's go Socratic. Let's go that way. Let's get you involved. What do you think happened? What was the main story that happened? No, it's not the main. What was the main theme of the media story? Yes. Well, that was part of it. That was sort of true for all of it because, of course, we had the McNulty scam going on. But just in the newspaper story alone, the newspaper story alone,